Alright everybody, how are we doing today? So today's video is going to be over some winter marsh fishing that's draining out pretty quick. So if you look in this video here, you're going to see a lot of this moving water that's actually draining out of the marsh pretty quick. And let's not let that be an intimidating factor. A lot of people will fish in the wintertime because they know how to read the marsh systems and they've learned how it drains. A lot of people don't fish it because they don't know how to do this, right? So today's video, I'm going to try to cover some of these do's and don'ts to give you some tips. Maybe it'll help out. Hopefully it will. And maybe it'll put you on some fish, right? So let's see what we got going on here. If you notice in the background, that water's really pushing out pretty hard. And if you notice off to the right hand side, there's a lot of mud. So normally there's a lot of water there. I'll say that the marsh is down several feet right now in this video. Normally it's holding a lot more water. Excuse me, sorry about that. Normally it's holding a lot more water, but at this time, that northern wind's really pushing that water out. And for a lot of people, this can be a really intimidating factor. So what we got to learn here is don't let that be a deal breaker for you, right? You just got to get out there, put some time in, learn the marsh system, and know what's going to drain, what's going to hold water, so we can go ahead and find what's going to be the prime spot for us to be fishing during the winter months. A lot of times, this is going to happen to your marsh systems in the northern. Several days of northern winds here have blown this water out. And normally people are like, nope, I'm not getting out there. This for me is prime time to get out there because I know where water is going to be holding and I know where fish are going to be stacked up. And because one, the water temperature stay constant in this water, and all the wind pushes the water to this location, this is where they're going to be stacking up at. Right, so let's go ahead and see what we got here. This is one of the many fish I caught all day long this day. This day I caught lots and lots of reds as the marsh is draining out. I just recorded a few. It got to the point where I just went ahead and put recording and just started taking photos. There's a lot of crawlers, a lot of tails in this kind of water because it's so shallow. Easy to see, easy to find. Not a problem. So we go ahead and target this area. For me here, if you look, all this water is pushing out. What I'm doing here is I'm actually targeting these fish that are ahead of me. So this is not me blind casting. I'm not blind casting at all. I'm actually parked back here, sitting on this edge, and I can see them rolling in the background. I mean, they're bombing it out. So I know what's going on. So this is not blind casting or getting lucky.
I'm using the
so let's see what we got going on.
down south supermodel with the eyes. See it here. Yeah, these reds have been just crushing it today. I mean, just all over it. So let's see if we can get a couple more and see how this one holds out.
Yeah, so that is the down south supermodel. Like I said, with the eyes, man, I love this lure. It's a really good lure. It's worked for me year round, spring, summer, fall, winter. It's been a producer for me. It's really good soft plastic. So once again, here we are targeting this area. Okay, like I was saying, this isn't blind casting. It's not getting lucky. I'm actually watching these fish feed here, right? And you'll see later on in the video that there's pushing water around these corners here, and it's pushing bait fish through these cuts, and the reds are just stacking up in this area because this is where it's holding deeper water. Right now, everything else is draining out of the marsh real fast, and you'll see later on in the video that there's a lot of water that's gone already. All right, and this is just the beginning. It's getting a lot more shallow as the day goes on, and eventually I wind up having to drag probably about 20 yards eventually at the end here. But during the winter months, you kind of got to expect that already, right? Because the marsh is starting to drain out. You're out there on some water that may not be there when you come back to the launch, okay? It's kind of understood. It sucks, but that's part of it. If you want to get to some of these really big redfish, sometimes you're going to have to just gut it out a little bit and do that drag. It's not too bad. Just once you get used to it, once you've done it once or twice, it's going to pay off for you once you figure out where the water's going to be holding and the red's going to be stuck at, all right? So I'm trying to get this one in here. I believe this is going to be an oversized redfish. I don't have the board with me that day, so I'm kind of just assuming and guessing it looked like it to me.
It's probably going to be oversized.
So let's take a look at the red here. Nice fat little belly on that thing, right?
So yeah, might be a little oversized. I don't have my board with me. So we've got the board right now, so yeah. She's a big girl right here. Nice. Let's get it back in the water and
May have been oversized, may not. Don't know. Either way. So every day, all the fish I caught this day, I let it go. Very rarely do I keep fish I catch anymore. Normally I catch and release mostly everything I catch unless someone says, hey, I want to eat some fish for dinner. Then on the stringer they go. So if you look in the background, it's draining even more and more and more as the video is continuing on. A lot of times right now people are starting to panic. Don't, right? This is part of what happens in the winter months. So if you get out there, try to remember you got to find those deeper bodies of water. So watch what I'm doing here, okay? See how my reel is really close to the mud and water. That wind up getting in the mud and water as the video went on. I don't think I got it on video, but it was a problem for me later on, and you'll see later on in the video what I'm talking about. So be mindful where you put your reel.
You can look, man. I mean, they withstand the abuse. I mean, you saw those are 2 big reds that just landed shortly, just a minute ago off those. Same one, and it's doing pretty solid still. No big problems with it at all. Holding where it needs to be. All right, so let's see if we get out there and maybe do it again. Yeah, see what we can do. All right, so I found some moving water. So I'm hoping this moving water will pay off a little bit here. Maybe it's got some reds feeding in that little movement. See what we can do.
So here we found some some moving water. This is a good thing in the marsh when it's draining, right? Because a lot of times the bait's going to be pushing against this current, trying to get away from reds that are stacked up there. So if you notice where I cast that in this video, this next cast here is going to be out to the right side where the water's already spoiled out. Now if you look on the left side, that water's pushing through really good in that cut, right? On the right side, on the outskirts of it, just right over my right shoulder, you see that water's kind of pushed out, slowing down. That's where the fish is normally going to be stacked up at, right? That's where the bait's going to be stacked up at. So watch where I place this actual soft plastic. Right there, okay? That's where the red's normally going to be feeding at. And I saw that earlier, and I know this was going on. That bait fish is stacked up there. The redfish are going to start feeding off that bait fish that's stacked up there. And if you put your lure there, it pays off. So here, got to hook up. And that's exactly what I wanted. That's where that bait fish is going to be stacked up at. You see this water moving like that? Try it, give it a shot, right? I guarantee there's a lot of established fishermen out there already, kayakers, or even, you know, guys out there in skiffs and stuff like that fishing the marsh that are doing this, and it's paying off, right? A lot of times people put it in that water, in the middle of it, and try to bump it back. But the problem is you're missing the water columns as that plastic's falling into different water columns. So they could be feeding the bottom, they could be feeding different locations of that mouth. But normally I'll find them stacked up on the outskirt of that where the water is a lot more calm, so the big fish is stacked up there. The reds are just bombing them out, just crushing them.
There we go. Paid off. Again. All right, another one. Paying off that moving water, you know, get out there. These are nice sized reds. I mean, the color's really pretty on them. Man, tell you what, that winter red fishing is just unbelievable, guys. I'm finding moving water, right? Just like they always tell you, man, look for places that the marsh is draining out. Try to find big bodies of water that are going to condense down into one small little channel. And this is the kind of stuff that's going to produce for you, all right? You have to get out there and do the work and know where the water's going to go in the wintertime. A lot of people don't want to get out there in the winter because it's cold and it's uncomfortable. And this happens. You lose a lot of water. People get stuck dragging, and years and years and years of figuring these things out, and it would pay off for you. And that's what's going on today. Is I'm able to target the reds that I've known for a long time, these places that I fished, and it's paying off.
Right, so that's it for this video. Hopefully some of the tips help. Seeing the marsh itself draining and seeing where the fish are stacking up at. Hopefully this gave you some information, some guidance, and some information you're going to need to fish this kind of marsh as it's draining. Good luck, tight lines. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until then, see you next time.